I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second that.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Agenda approved.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Let's do that after it's all.
We need to add that to the minutes.
Oh, I didn't know we had an addition.
Yeah, we made an error last week. We need a motion and a second to pass we voted by,
We did roll call.
we did roll call, but we didn't make a motion and a second to do it. So per the attorney, we need a motion and a second
I'll make a motion.
Second?
What's this for?
to approve the resolution we did last week.
Oh,
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion approved to correct the minutes and resolution. Okay, now we want to move. We need a motion to approve the minutes. We did.
Yes.
Now we need a motion to approve the minutes. That would,
Oh, I thought that motion was for that,
no, that motion was for the
for the resolution.
resolution.
Because we have to do the administrative / procedural correction.
So that one I probably would not second then. I thought we were just changing the minutes. Does that make sense? Sorry to be a pain in the butt,
No, you're
but
fine. So let's,
Want us to start over?
I'll make a motion.
second.
Now, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
nay.
Motion approved.
Sorry, Brandy.
you go.
Yes.
But then I will make a motion to change the minutes from last week.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Minutes approved.
I'll make a motion to strike the first.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion approved. This is amazing.
I just want to make sure.
This is the
it's all-
most motions we ever had just to get this far.
Thank you.
Better safe than sorry.
No, you're fine.
Okay, now we'll drop down to communications, correct? We passed all this.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, my meeting for the juvenile detention facility was last week. I wasn't able to participate because of our meeting, but I did pick up some stuff on there. One of the main things they're doing is they're actually have donations come in to actually get the detainees up there all some Christmas gifts like blankets and shower soap and stuff like that. Some things that they can use there. So, but that's pretty much the only meeting I had. And then the correspondence that you guys all got on for and against the EMS resolution. That's pretty much all I had for the week.
The only thing I wanted to, well, I guess there was a couple things. The email this morning about insurance and shopping around for that. Do we want that individual to come in and talk to us about that? Do you have time?
wouldn't hurt to listen to somebody.
Yeah, I don't think it's, if we have. I mean,
I can respond and ask
I
her.
don't mind her coming in, but I don't know if we'll have time this year to change anything though.
That's what I'm worried about.
So, but it'd be decent to hear something. I mean, if
Mhm.
she's reaching out, I'd hate to not have her come in.
But at least maybe have her come in and give us what a timeline would be to get quotes and.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I will respond to her and tell her she can come in. And then, who else was it that was wanting to get on the agenda, Brandy? Somebody from that wants money. It wasn't Kirkwood, was it?
Oh, no, that was,
Easy Cog.
Easy call.
Yeah.
I
Easy Cog.
have those on for,
And
or I
then-
have her in January.
What was the other one I told you about? You know, Easy Cog, was it?
The tour.
Was
The
that the
tour's
same
done.
amount they've been asking before?
Right, that was the
I
other
think
item.
Was it
so.
3,000?
I think so.
Or she didn't ask.
Right, she just wanted to put her hand out.
It's that time of year.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it.
I had both early childhood for our region, this, and then early childhood for the board elect for District 6, and basically both, nothing has happened with either one. I mean, as far as the state, they have not given what they're gonna separate the districts out yet into. I think they're waiting for the legislative session to start, which I believe started, right?
No,
Or no, it hasn't.
not till
yet.
January.
Okay. But, so they're waiting for that, I think, to start and see what, if any legislation comes in for that. But other than that, it was just business as usual. So that's it.
I really had nothing. Okay, go down to other.
Took care of that.
licenses done. Alva County Finance Certificate to provide to Ayers and Cooney. Tree died.
Oh, yeah.
What?
That's the thing that.
Yeah, I filled that out the last time, I think.
Well, then you're good at it.
No, you can do it. It's not my project, not my circus, not my monkey.
I don't
So-
know enough about the project.
So this needs to be filled out.
I think we just sat,
We need to.
Filled it
motion
out
to have
together,
it
didn't we?
filled out, or is that-
No, but the board should fill it out.
So I can fill it out for the board.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we need to prove that, like Kevin doing it?
Yeah, that's fine if you want to.
I'll make a motion to authorize Kevin to fill that out on behalf of the board.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion approved. Quarterly transfer from rural basic to secondary roads, $328,750.
Motion to approve.
second,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion approved.
Do we have a meeting next week?
Yes, as of right now. Because
That's-
courthouse is back open on Friday.
Okay.
And people that want to, I don't know, do we have stuff we have to do on Friday? We have claims or something, or it's up to you, if people are gonna be gone.
Have claims.
I'll be here, so it doesn't
I'll be
matter.
around.
Okay, I didn't know if you were gonna be gone or something.
Mm-mm.
That's the only one on, so I'll be gone too.
You're gonna be gone, Brandy?
Yeah.
All we have is Nick.
Do we want to do it then?
Let's put it as no for right now then. We only have Nick. We're meeting next week, Friday. Works.
As I figured, there's not gonna be anything between, really no work to do in this time.
It's easy. That worked out better for me. That's when I'm having my Christmas.
What?
That's when I'm having my Christmas, which well.
Oh, perfect.
We'll have more time to make the ham.
Oh, I have.
No, no, I think we're having roast.
I'll reschedule her.
What?
Becky was on, I'll reschedule her.
Oh,
We just even have her email it too and just call it good.
There you go.
Darn.
well. Anything else want to be discussed? Oh, there he is.
Perfect timing.
You can start early.
Oh, okay. Hello, Nick.
Good morning. Nick, before I forget to tell you, there is no meeting for next week,
No meeting next week.
just decided.
unless you want to have one.
You can have one by yourself in here.
No,
You can tell your kids, sorry, I gotta go to a meeting.
I'll see. Yeah, I'll be here Wednesday and Friday anyway. So it doesn't matter to
It's gonna be
me.
unusual. I think it's supposed to be warm for Christmas, no unusual Christmas snowstorm.
We're done snowing.
We got our share.
well, yesterday that snow was.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
For the-
John and I were on
Here
the
and
other
next
side
year and
driving.
all the years.
Yeah, if you went north and south, it was really,
Yeah,
and then all of a sudden you go a mile and it was clear.
I know.
All right, the first thing we have is a final pay voucher to Manats for project LFM 102.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed, say nay. Motion approved.
Thank you. Our guys have been cleaning up snow earlier this week, cutting ice on the gravels. And then today, also cleaning up from trees on the road from the windstorm last night.
Oh, we get quite a few blown out.
I'm not sure how many, but Tim said that, we at least everybody at least had to go check their roads, and he knew of a few spots where, yeah, they had to go cut them up.
you see every windstorm in a manna.
Yeah. Right. And so also Tuesday morning, we did have a safety meeting. So that was good. We went over winter conditions, and then we also talked about stuff that they need at the shops. And we talked about the upcoming projects and what a good job they're doing. And so we went through a lot of stuff Tuesday.
Example of what they need.
And Woody also helped get on this, but yeah, a couple of the shops need new floor grates. So, one of our techs and Woody headed that up, and they've already had somebody go out to get estimates for, Ladora. They need a whole new floor. They've been after me for a while, and now it's getting kind of bad. And then we needed some new grates down in Millersburg, at least for half of it. And we also talked about dust control and what they would like to see, and even also with the snow policy too. We were trying to work together. I'm like, we'll get the ordinance to whatever you need. Tell me what you need, and we can try to make it work. So got some feedback there. And then we spent a long time on dust control. So I put in some changes here for this upcoming year, and you guys can also let me know what you think. The front page there is this year. The other page is last year. That way you can compare and contrast. But one of our main changes is that we've now upped the fees, and the fees will be according to lengths. We've had some issues with people coming in, paying for, it was $10 before, and paying for them and their neighbor and the other neighbor, and trying to get around the system. So we're gonna change that. And then also we do have a few people that like to go miles upon miles. So we're gonna up that fee to about $100. The other change is that if they only have one application, we used to have that we would tear it up in 70 days and now, or 90 days. Now we've kind of got it down to 70. And that really also helps, people decide if they want 2 applications. It's always trouble when they come in, only get one, and then they want it to last all year, and there's no touching up or nothing. The seal coat part I just made shorter. That way people can come in and talk to me if they want to do that. Our guys also suggested that they would definitely like them flagged better. And I looked, I pulled all sorts of other counties, permits and stuff, and usually a lot of them do have something about the flags and they need to be kept visible. And then the other part is on the 2 or more applications, like I said, we went through about 20 different other counties. A lot of them say October 1st or October 15th that the county will go through them, no questions asked, without consulting the landowner. So as we had talked about this fall, I know that they're
No matter how good a shape they're in, you're gonna tear everybody's out.
well, I'm not saying that, but this gives you, it just says right here that, hey, plan on it. I'm not saying that they're all gonna do that, but just plan on it. Because it does, it creates a hard time for everybody, right? No landowner thinks that their dust control is in bad shape. Our motor grader goes through it because it is in bad shape, or they need to prep it for winter. That landowner calls you guys. Now you guys say fix it, make it right, or do whatever, pay for them to have it again. And now we're not trusting our graders, and I got 9, 10 graders that just don't know what to do. Do we just leave them even if they're bad because that person's just going to call the board and I'm going to get yelled at? So I'm just like, well, I don't want that. We don't want, I think we should just have it in here that you just plan on it being graded through. That's what they would prefer. So
I don't have dust control. It'll fix you.
I know, that's right. I have thoughts, but I don't think I should really speak to it because, you know what I mean? It's kind of a conflict.
I just figured you had an opinion more.
I do have an opinion,
We don't have dust control either.
I don't have dust control,
but I feel like, you know what I mean? I don't feel like I should.
I understand.
I don't think it would be a conflict.
It's an opinion.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm not sure why it matters on the length for the fee, but this is where that affects me because, as you probably know, we do from house to house because we want that covered because we don't want the dust, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just unsure of how that affects your office differently than if I just did my chunk and then that chunk. You know what I mean? That it would cost more money.
Well, it takes the motor grader a little bit more time to do some of these longer ones and to prep them. And, we did go through some other counties. I think even our fee for the 400 to 800 feet, I think all these fees are reasonable. And Jasper County does per foot. They'll charge you per foot. But yeah, there's just too many people that were coming in being like, hey, this is for 1,600 feet for 3 of our neighbors, and we only want to pay $10. And it's just, I think we're missing the point of all of it. It should be.
I wonder what the average feet of people are doing.
It's usually about 400.
Ours is 1,600. I can't remember. It's quite a bit, but
But you're taking in 2 is probably why it's so long, right?
yeah, because we're just going from one house to the other because we walk back and forth all the time. So you might as well have it, not be dusty, so.
And so that's a little bit more maintenance there for our guys to prep that, but we're not necessarily in
I'm not gonna,
the making money business.
yeah, I'm not gonna fight this by any means, but I'll probably just abstain from the vote just to be safe, so.
I don't even know if there's gonna be a vote. I'm just,
Okay.
you know, here's what our guys propose. If you guys have an opinion, let me know.
Is the
What do
October
you, what do
first?
you
Okay.
use, what do you use for dust control?
Calcium chloride.
Okay, I just saw that.
I can just see people
Is it-
calling and screaming about
I
that.
mean, you need to have them,
As
the
part of
road
this.
prepped by then for winter, you think? or-
I would say that you need to pick a date. Everybody that I looked at always has a date.
Right.
Whether you want it to be October 1st or you want it to be October 15th, right? Even if it is October 1st, that doesn't mean we're gonna be there that day.
Right.
Yeah, I think the concern was they're still harvesting October 1st. And that's probably the
It's the
dustiest
truck
time.
traffic, yeah.
Yeah. But they're still harvesting October 15th and they're still
Yeah,
harvesting
just
October
kind of the
30th
year
too,
before.
so most of the time. And then plus we still have, I think today, more than 25 years ago, we still have a lot more truck traffic hauling grain in the fall after harvest as well. So we're not gonna solve that, so yeah, a date's gotta be picked.
Right, yeah, that's what I would say. And everywhere that I looked, they always pretty much had a date, and it always says that we can prep the roads for winter.
That's the concern. I don't think people understand that's why you're doing it. You're not doing it because it's October 1st. You're doing it because you're prepping the road for winter. Because we did have some landowners said, my road was just fine. It didn't need graded at that date.
I think we should make the expectation that it will be graded through, and if it's left, then you're lucky.
I get that for clarification purposes.
Think about it, we won't get calls for dust control for at least 3 more weeks, so.
Well, it's crazy, the amount of calls on dust control versus anything else that I get calls on. That's why I think people might get a little bit antsy about that, but I could be wrong.
Almost as many as Snow Rock.
Yeah, we went through lots and lots of counties and all pulled up their permits, and
A lot of them are the 1st of October.
anywhere from there to the 15th. There was one that was in November. I would say the majority of them were October 1st, a few on the 15th, and one for November. And I think one just said whenever we please.
Yeah.
So. We'll still have in there the calcium. See, here's the other thing too, right? If you have that calcium chloride, you can grade the road, and even with a fresh little rain after that or mildew, it seals right back up. So just because you grade through, I think even out here on the Mary's Road, you would have gone, we did that like say on a Friday or something, or Wednesday. We got a little bit of rain on Friday. By Monday, you couldn't even tell. They'll seal back up.
Is that a majority of what people use, or what are the other?
That's what we like to say is preferred, because we do get people that come in and ask. I would say that's the majority. Some people still like to use their tree sap to make the road kind of hard.
Since Heartland stopped doing it, I feel like a lot of people switched. We switched. So
That's the majority of what people are doing those, this calcium chloride.
I think that's the majority. Our guys would prefer if that was the only one we allowed. And I thought about that, and I just kept in there that it's preferred. Our guys would definitely like it if that's the only one allowed, because, I mean, and then even in the wintertime, with that, those seal back up really good, so you get years and years of it, just, it'll kind of work all the way through the winter. And I think they said even in the wintertime, it'll help keep that spot from freezing. So if you're cutting ice, you might, but
Is there a cost difference between
You know, I don't know because I don't deal on that end of it. I don't
Not
keep
that
track
much.
of.
No,
No, actually, I think, but it's hard to say because we just switched companies. So I know I think the calcium was more expensive when Heartland offered that and the tree sap version, but then when you switch companies, we save money. So it's hard to say.
So you want us to think about this and then
Chris is the dust control expert. We better leave it to him. So
do we approve this or is it just you do it?
No, I take in what the motor graders say, I take in what my guys say, I take in what you guys say. We try to find a happy medium to make everybody happy.
Okay, so 2 weeks, let's bring it up again or whatever, so we don't forget it. But
when we get phone calls, we just say next choice.
next choice.
Sure.
Call Nick.
There's
And
a-
that's
there's a number.
absolutely fine, as long as we know whose choice it was. I have no problem with that. I mean, we've done things like that before, right? Like, there was a lot of grief when we no longer put in driveways. We get grief for a year, and then everybody gets used to it, and it's all better. You see how good it can be, and you're better off. So I think whatever you make, you might get a little bit of grief for 1 year, but by year 2, you're setting something better in place, and it'll make for a better future. So yeah, Woody was helping out. Woody and the techs were helping out with the floors and the grates. They had a T-TAC meeting this week. We did an inspection, bridge inspection. We talked about the dust control. The only other thing that I have is, I guess I pass this around real quick. The DOT is going to repave Highway 149 west of Parnell, 2 miles to where the road goes down North English. It's the only section they haven't done. And then they're going to turn north into Williamsburg and put on shoulders in 2027. So they asked if we wanted to do fillets at those red spots.
Which is really nice to maintain, right?
It is really nice for maintainers. Here's my issue, is that I'm guessing it might be around 10,000 per fillet. Okay.
8,
8, 2 of them are already seal coat, so that's a different beast. We'll have to talk through that. Okay, we seal coated to whatever over to kind of the Wolfman's Bridge. That's now seal coat. And going the north side into Parnell, that's now seal coat too. So whether or not we put a fillet on those, but at $10,000 a fillet, if not more, because here's the thing, if we go back further, we're gonna have to check those culverts, see how they are. If the fillet goes over the culvert, we're gonna have to replace the culvert. Also, all of those roads, I looked on Google Maps, all those roads that coming onto the highway there are super wide where it comes in. So they could be a little expensive. Now here's my thoughts. We've done this everywhere else. We did it on 151. We've added them off of Highway 6. We did the south part of 149. Everywhere we've added fillets, even our own roads that we do, we add them. Now this comes out of local money. If we are trying to cut expenses as much as we can, these are very nice and we've always done it, but they are not a must.
Yeah.
It's kind of a safety thing. It's the motor grader operator too, aren't they? Or they don't have to maintain out to that
Correct.
road.
I did look on this one. For sure, on like Highway 6 when we did them, that was all safety. This one, you do have good sight distance in both directions. The DOT is gonna make a 4-foot shoulder off of there.
Why are they doing that?
Add shoulders.
Yeah.
Just make things safer, I suppose. I think that's what it says on page 2. They plan on
so
putting,
there'll be asphalt shoulders or?
all I know is what's on that page.
Well, they already have white gravel.
Mhm.
Is that what it says? 4-foot asphalt shoulders heading north?
Doesn't say, you know. Adding paved shoulders is all it says.
All right, just adding page shoulders.
But then it says,
Maybe it's only 2 foot. I don't
it
know.
says DOT would pay for the first 10 foot.
which is kind of what they have now. They have like a 10-foot fillet on
So
there
they'll
now.
do that anyways, probably.
Yeah. So my thing is, I have always done this before in the past, but if we are very tight on money and everything else, this just seems more like a want than a need.
I think we need the local money for gravel.
Is there any way is there any that need to be done instead of doing all pick and choose or not?
Sure, yeah, no, we could definitely pick and choose. The other thought I had is instead of going our usual 35, 40 feet, that we would just do 10 feet. I think it's about 12 foot from the blade to the front end of the motor grader. We already have like a 12-foot thing, you add on another 10 feet, you should be super clear.
That cut it in the cost in a third then?
Yeah. Well, a fillet usually kind of starts out wide and tapers back. So if you do the first 10 feet, you still, I would say it would cut the price down, half. Because
So like
by the
40,000 instead of 80?
could be, yeah. But again, that's a lot of money.
I know.
That's a lot of money. I'd rather see some of our guys get raises, but
Mhm.
Just a thought,
which one?
if we cut it back,
The distance? No, I agree.
cut it back the distance or, this one is low traffic, this one's high traffic.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just wanted,
Yeah, if there's any
how
other, like,
much, I just wanted to know how penny pinching we're being.
I don't
sharpen
know.
your nails.
I didn't know if there's some that was more highly trafficked with semis and others, that makes a difference, or
I would say the one right outside of Williamsburg, the first one to the south, that probably gets a little bit of, that's coming down the hill. I know that gets chattery.
that won't fix any of that anyhow.
That won't fix the rest of the chatters because you're going down the hill. But they are all super, super wide. If we're gonna do anything, I would say you cut it back and at least make sure you don't have to replace culverts. You replace culverts, they're so long, you're looking at least another, 10 grand, if not more per site. And that's if you put in a CMP, which you probably shouldn't even put that in. You should probably put in a concrete one if it's next to a paved road with all that salt, which now you're looking at 25 grand a site added on.
Well, I think it's nice once you check the culverts and see if we don't want to spend, I don't think we want to spend all that money to replace all the culverts on top of it. If we're gonna even put shorter ones in.
So that was my thing. If we do anything, I would say you go for a shorter one,
When are they supposed to do this project?
2027.
I'm sure they want plans ahead of time.
Yeah, I would say if we do anything, we go shorter, just to try to save a little bit of money. But then we're at the point where, do we still want to even just say 40 grand? Do we want to spend 40 grand on something that's nice? Or if it's not a necessity, we cut it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna improve the road to, is it gonna improve? I mean, I'm sure it'll improve the road, but
It makes it nicer. It makes it a little bit safer for the graders. Every time that we've done it, the graders always love it. The other part is in this spot, you got good sight distance, so you don't have to worry about spinning out to get back on the highway. I know that at a couple of them, we did the Iowa Johnson line off of 6. That one to me was a safety issue. Even T Avenue that we did, you have good sight distance, but there's a housing development up there and people were spinning to get on.
yeah.
When did they have to know by?
You can think about it.
Let's revisit it maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And this morning I did get a response from Ms. Means' office. concerning the snow policy. I have to reread his email a little bit better. So I will come back with that next week or 2 weeks.
So good.
Any questions for Nick? Thank you.
Yeah,
Have a Merry Christmas.
Yep, Merry Christmas, Nick.
you guys too. No meeting next week. You got it. All right, have a good one.
You too. I prepared today. Me too.
Do we got everything done on the agenda?
I think so. Want Adam to come up?
Recess?
Oh, because it does have to come up, we'll keep that rolling and take a recess.
You ready?
Yep.
Oh, we got Adam, yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello, Adam.
Morning.
Same thing on email. You guys all want a copy of that quote too? Did you see that?
I would like a paper copy, please.
I made one for everybody.
All right, I'll start with my call report. November, we had 125 responses. 97 of those were transports, 28 were refusals. For the fiscal year, we have 733 responses, 525 transports, and 208 refusals. So average for the first fiscal year is 146 responses per month, compared to last year, average 157. And then transports, 105 per month, average compared to 119. So that's kind of significant on the revenue side. We're down about 14 calls per month. So when we get to my revenue report here, I'll mention that again. But 29 times both ambulances were busy at the same time. 8 of those 29 times we were able to staff a backup truck, ambulance, and then we had to request an out-of-county 6 times for November. We had 17 transfers out of Compass. That's our call report. I'll go into finance. November expenses, $172,834 compared to a budget of $209,107. Year-to-date actual expenses, $965,081 compared to a year-to-date budget of $1,045,535. The difference in those, we're sitting $81,454 under budget for the year-to-date. November revenue, this is kind of bad. $44,171, a little low. Call volume, but there's also the government shutdown and Medicaid. We didn't get any Medicaid reimbursement.
We're not caught up yet, once that's.
We're not caught up yet, so. That's December, I did make a deposit Tuesday. We're already like at 60,000 for December, halfway through the month, so. Hopefully that comes back up, but some of that is a little bit's call volume, but the majority, I think, is the Medicare revenue. So year-to-date revenue, $450,566 compared to a year-to-date budget revenue of $545,542. The year-to-date revenue is under budget $92,975. So hopefully that starts moving in the right direction here after December. Difference between year-to-date expenses and year-to-date actual revenue, $513,515.
compared to a budgeted difference of expenses versus revenue of $501,933. So our cost variance is actually negative right now, $11,521 because of that revenue. Our average charge per transport, $1,523 compared to average revenue per transport of $947. And our year-to-date cost per response is $1,315 compared to our cost per transport is $1,836. Any questions on those? Our patient satisfaction, I sent those out, I think, late last week, early this week, was still at 100% on those surveys. Activities are normal stuff there at the top. The preparedness meetings that I go to. Our November training was ventilator management. Our December training is airway management. And then we're finalizing our protocol updates with Dr. Kaker. And those just take a lot of time to reformat and update and get those out. And then we'll have to have training in January on those. Because we have controlled substances, we have to have controlled substance agreements through the state. And we got those all renewed this month, so we're good for another 2 years. I attended Kirkwood EMS advisory meeting on the 11th, and then you may have seen it in the paper where we're in the very early stages. I just mentioned it. She ran with it in the newspaper. We're looking into Marengo first responders. The city seemed on board with it. They haven't officially approved yet, but I think we're moving forward with that. So just that'll operate similar as Williamsburg does when the ambulance is out of town. They'll be available to respond until in Marengo, until Williamsburg truck gets over here. We'd have first responders. So as if we don't have, we used to have police coverage 24/7. I didn't worry about it quite as much because they were, they had an AED, could do basic care. As things kind of move towards not having that all the time, and then if I'm not on duty, there's kind of really nobody around. So I think it'll be a good thing if we get that going. Equipment vehicles, mostly normal services. Our 2023 Ford did have to have a new thermostat put in, and it also got 2 new front tires. I forgot to write that in. I'll get to personnel in a minute. Safety-wise, pretty routine. We've got a lot of drug screens going on. There's been a few background checks come through. There was 1 injury, didn't require any treatment other than self-care. It was a slip in Nick's office. They slipped on some rocks, doing a bridge inspection. Our next safety meeting is not till January. HIPAA, I watched the HIPAA webinar yesterday through ISAC. This year we're due to do our HIPAA audit, so I'll be reaching out to those departments probably after budget time, getting those done and seeing what our needs are for security and stuff like that. Anything on my normal report? Any questions? So in our budget, our current budget, we budgeted for 2 new EKG monitors to replace ones that are over 10 years old. We budgeted $96,000. I was kind of waiting until after taxes came in to bring this to you. I checked with him on pricing. Prices have gone up, but he was able to honor what he had quoted me a year ago when I did the budget. So we can, if we order them before the end of the month, we can stay within our budget. If we wait after the first year, he expects prices to be at $5,000.
And this was in your budget, right?
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
but we budgeted $96,000. But the quote expired end of August, but I didn't want to buy them because we were waiting until we got property tax money in the fall. So I just reached out and he's like, if you're going to do it, you better do it before the end of the year because prices are going to be going up after the first of the year. So, and your quote's already outdated. So he's like, I'm going to have to trim some numbers to even stay within what I gave you. So the delivery won't be, earliest they can get here is 8 weeks. So we wouldn't have to pay for them for probably March or so. Or we could schedule it too if we wanted to. If we didn't want them delivered till April, we could do that too. I don't know if it makes any difference for revenue, what we have in with taxes and stuff, it makes any difference on the second act of taxes if you'd rather.
I don't think it matters.
If you get budgeted already,
We do, it's just something, it's because it's almost 100,000, I didn't know
Okay.
The only difference on the financial end for you guys.
Right.
And I got the quote that I sent you, it's called the Life Pack 35. I guess I didn't put a picture out here. You can Google it if you want to see what it looks like. But they don't just do EKG, they do EKG, defibrillation, pulse oximetry, Untitled CO2, which is carbon dioxide, and then they also do CO monitoring. They record all that. It transmits to the hospital, the EKG, so the doctor can see it and all that stuff. Is there any questions on what it does?
Is there a motion to give Adam the authority to go ahead and buy the defibrillators for the,
Do we need to? It's in his budget.
he wanted one since it was $100,000. He asked.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, well, there's no, I don't normally go spending $96,000 without getting your approval, so.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion approved.
And then the next thing I'll introduce you to our, Leah, if you want to stand up, is our training captain. I don't know if you've met her or not before, you've probably seen her with me a few times. She's kind of taken over Jason's role, taken over all of our training, coordinating everything, which we did a couple years ago when we switched things around. At the time, I had 2 captains assigned. I don't have an assistant director right now. It's a little confusing to staff, who's next in charge when I'm gone, who do they go to? Talking to Leah, we would like to change her title to assistant director, so there's a clear chain of command when I'm absent. We're not asking for any wage change, just to help give some clarity to this. And she's already doing, her job's not gonna change. She already steps up and fills in for me when I'm gone. She coordinates all of our training, helps with all our protocol stuff. So if you're good with that, I don't know if I need a motion on that or not, because we're not changing any wages, but I'll bring that to you.
I would
I think that's within his own department.
think it's, but for clarity, make sure we know it. I'd rather almost have a motion to do it.
Yeah, that's.
I'll
why I
make the
brought it up.
motion, and thank you, Leah, for doing that.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion approved.
John coordinates all our CPR training
This way it's on record. Then.
for all our employees. Anything else for me?
I don't think so.
Will you send an email to Kristen?
What's that?
Will you send an email to Kristen?
Sure.
With this, just so we make sure we.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He called me yesterday as well. I forgot to bring this up.
Yeah.
but He changed the website because it still had listings for the Conway number for mental health.
Oh.
So he went ahead and
I
changed
haven't
that.
done
appropriate.
anything yet. I haven't done anything yet, but I was gonna reach out to that company that does it. I can't think of what it is. Neapolitan. Because on our mental health site, it still has, we have an office there, it was Belinda and
Oh, yeah.
contact, we probably want that on there. Yeah, so I'll reach out to them.
Thank you.
There's something else I was gonna mention, but I forgot now.
Just a few
Get to the
things
point
going
where I
on.
might need them, so I run away from them. I did okay without it.
Did REA do anything with that office then, Kevin, or is it just empty right now?
Just empty, as far as I know. Okay, we'll drop down to the 10, 10, 15. So.
That's fine.
Howell County, 8,215,000 general obligation account, capital loan notes. Bond council engaged in agreement consideration.
Did they price tag on this?
Price tag on
They did. I mean, I meant for Ayler's part, what they're gonna do, or do they just go separately? Okay, great.
Is there a motion to approve the chair to sign the bond council engagement agreement consideration?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Nay.
Motion approved. Finance certificate completion.
You're gonna work on that, and we already made the
That's us?
motion, yeah. For that one.
Resolution 2025-12-19, fixing date for meeting on proposition to authorize loan agreement and issuance of notes to evidence the obligation of county thereunder. What date we got on here?
Is there a date on there though? January 16th at 10:15.
Was it already published, Brandy? Okay, good.
Is there a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve the January 16th date.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion approved. That's it for that, right?
I'm going to recess.
Yep, going to recess. No, that's what I start throwing out, right? We're gonna go back and do a roll call vote on the resolution.
Which one? Just-
On resolution 2025-19A, a new roll call vote.
Okay.
This is the one for the,
Changing the date.
Fixing the date.
setting the date, yes. So
Oh, setting a date.
Egan,
Aye.
hi Susan.
Aye.
Ross,
So it's setting the date or fixing it?
fixing the date, so setting the date, scheduling the meeting.
I'm gonna be named just to be safe.
Fine.
Aye.
No. Oh, that's good.
Missed my desk over there. I have everything kind of organized and then
It's my garbage can. You just have to wait till 10 o'clock to start officially. That was the meeting. Skip breakfast.
What kind of restaurants can go where? Oh, really?
No.
Okay. Good deal. Yeah,
Yes.
that will be nice.
Hello. You there? Okay, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
hey, Chris.
I'm here. Hey, Abby.
Okay, it's 10 o'clock. We'll go in public hearing number 3, declaration of EMS essential service in Iowa County.
Motion to go into public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're in public hearing. Do you get any calls on the public hearing? I've got 2 written responses. We'll just read them both then.
Yeah.
There was a third one in there too. Did you see that one? It's not printed though.
I've got Reddick and Ray.
Yes.
What's the third one?
Well, that was the email to us. Are you just talking ones that were mailed? Well, Reddick's was an email too as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
There was,
You look up that and I can start reading them.
sure.
Yeah.
Start out with Mr. Reddick. Dear County Supervisors, I'm aware that the resolution regarding EMS services to be voted on, and if it passes, it will go to general election for vote. I would assume that most voters will vote for this issue since everybody wants to have a good EMS service. My concern is that to fund the service more completely will lead to another increase in property taxes up to 75 cents per thousand. I fear the general public will not understand this is a possibility. If this does come up to vote for the residents, I urge you to fully explain to the public via mail or email that EMS services are already provided. And if this measure were to pass the general election, how it will be paid for. It would be important for the residents to know how the additional money will be taxed and will be used, salaries, equipment, additional services, etc. Additionally, it is important to explain to property owners how much property tax will increase. The transparency is important to everyone concerned. I'm aware that inflation has taken its toll on many families in the county, in particular retired households, along with the county itself. And an added tax on top of the already increases in property tax is not a good policy. I would suggest that the county budget be reviewed to find waste or items that are not necessary and those to be trimmed. I understand this. I understand that you are all in a difficult position trying to provide the best services within the given budget. This is not an easy task. If the resolution does pass the board and the board and goes to the public, please find a way to explain all sides of the issue in as much detail as possible to the voters. I don't believe the voters of Iowa County want another increase in the property tax. Sincerely, David Reddick. Supervisors, I have read with interest comments on EMS as a essential county service. I think most Iowa County residents would agree that EMS is an essential part of our lives. Some of the reasons for voting against this are puzzling. This is not an automatic tax increase. Any new levy under this section of the code will go into effect if the supervisors to put it up for public vote and if 60% of the voters casting ballots vote in favor of approval. This puts the levy change, which may or may not cause tax increase, in the hands of the voters of Iowa County. Our residents are capable of deciding this for themselves. For the supervisors to reject this resolution is like saying they know better than the public on what is best. I also saw comments by supervisors that the EMS levy would negatively impact the general supplemental fund. This is just incorrect. I strongly urge the Board of Supervisors to approve this resolution. Respectfully submitted, Ray Geringer. You said you had another one?
Yeah, it was sent to all of us in email. I can read it if you like.
Yep, would you please?
Hello, administrators. I'm writing to urge you to do what's best for both your constituents and my patients. I'm a practicing paramedic in Iowa County. However, I have been a part of 4 other emergency services and departments in my career. The Iowa County Ambulance struggles with limited funding far more than any other service I have been on. The equipment we use is not even comparable to the ambulances in surrounding communities. For example, the monitors we have currently fail to accurately measure all the vital information we need, in some cases leading to an inability to complete diagnostic tests vital to our patients' well-being. Furthermore, the quantity of 911 calls in Iowa County exceeds that of which can be covered adequately by only 2 staffed ambulances. Every time a 911 call goes off within Iowa County and both staffed ambulances are already occupied with other calls for service, the patient is left waiting often upwards of 30 minutes for a neighboring ambulance to arrive, usually coming from Iowa City or Cedar Rapids. Despite our dedicated QRS groups, there are many times during business hours or over holidays where there are no medically trained responders available. As a paramedic, I have sworn an oath to advocate for my patients. Thus, I cannot advocate for a system that is willing to increase the likelihood that a pregnant mother in labor or any others having an emergency might be alone without assistance during life-threatening birth when 2 other EMS calls are already happening. It is a near daily occurrence when both staffed ambulances are occupied. Thus, a delayed response due to limited resources occurs frequently. Secondly, you have to consider the quality and condition of providers supplied to your constituents. The starting pay for an Iowa County paramedic is under $24 an hour. A paramedic for the Johnson County Ambulance Service starts at $30.04 an hour. Compass Memorial Health Center is hiring paramedics at $29 an hour. Despite great benefits, the Iowa County Ambulance loses vital personnel annually to other opportunities. The Iowa County Ambulance Service struggles to get more than 2 paramedics to apply when jobs come up. This inhibits the hiring staff from selecting applicants that are better equipped to excel under the unique challenges of the rural county. EMS is not a for-profit industry. The same is true for police, fire service, public works, emergency management, and just about every other public department. Thus, EMS should be deemed essential and adequately funded to ensure continued high-level care delivered by the Iowa County Ambulance Service. Your role as a county administrator is to serve the community, ensure the public has access to the services they require. Thus, I fully believe you should vote for both the designation of EMS as an essential service and the proposed tax levy to be taken to vote done by the residents of Iowa County. I would also encourage you to contact both my fellow staff at Iowa County Ambulance Service and the public who have benefited from our work. Sincerely, Dane Markgard, BA and RP.
Does anybody else have any other written ones?
I just have I mean, a slew of people that have reached out to me about it, but I don't think it needs to be official, so.
The public, want to come up to speak, anybody?
Make a request to go really quick. I'm sorry, budget anyone? Go sign in. Okay.
Go sign
I'm
in,
sorry.
state your name and
Do that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. I just might have to leave out the door and I wasn't going to say anything. So that's why I'm trying to budget. So Jason Schott, and I'm full partial here because I work on the ambulance from Waynesburg area. So, you know, yesterday my water heater went out a week before Thanksgiving. Terrible, terrible time for that. But as we go through all of our stuff and these things that we need, you know, I think this whole debate over whether EMS is essential or not, like fire and law enforcement, I think we can probably agree that it is. You need it. Just like as much as I don't want to spend money on a water heater a week before Christmas with all the other expenses that you have, I have no choice. I have to do it. And that kind of is the way that we are with this that we do. And yes, EMS and fire is, and law enforcement is that way. But there's a lot of other departments for the county that do very important things that are great. I mean, if your roads are going to crap, if you can't come in and do your registration stuff, your vehicles, they provide a great service. That's what the county does. So I know that the talk of everything is how much that nobody wants the taxes to go up. But as everything in our world has continued to go up, we absolutely, at some point through this or just the tax levy in general, our taxes are going to increase. Now, I do think we have a serious obligation to really look at those and make sure departments are not wasting money on things that could go elsewhere. Absolutely. We need to make sure that we're doing that. But the way things sit currently, and kind of as they are, we don't have enough money, and other departments don't have enough money. All right, so we have to figure it out somewhere. I'm very happy. I'm a taxpayer here. I don't want my I'm grumbling 75 cents per thousand and tacking it on and go, what? You know, I'm paying that, but I live here. So yes, I want to make sure that every department is spending things very appropriately as well as they can. So I'm a strong advocate for that. But unfortunately, as far as us and revenue, we are a negative service. We operate in the red. There is no way for us to ever operate in the black. It is never going to happen. You are always going to lose money paying for this service. Now, again, going back to not wasting money on odd little things, we have a duty to make sure that we are spending this money that we have, especially when we're not bringing in money to offset it, that we're not wasting money we don't need to waste. So I support the funding, and you've already laid out all the reasons why we need it. So, all right, I'll shut up now. I'm gonna go sit down. Maybe we'll get a call for that. I'm sorry.
thank you.
Yeah.
Next,
Well, I'll say something. I agree with most of what's been said. James Johnson, Ladora.
sign in, please.
I have.
Okay.
I agree with everybody, reforming that it isn't essential services. These are the basic services that government should provide. My only concern is the tax levy. Are you going to do due diligence and make sure there are not any other opportunities to find funding before you put this to a vote? That's my biggest concern. So, we moved back here in the early 90s, and my property has appreciated 10% or 10 times since then. And my taxes have went up about 15 times. So that's not sustainable. Any 75 cent per thousand increase would take away any raise I got on my Social Security and then some. So, we need to be judicious about raising taxes, make sure it's absolutely necessary.
Okay, thank you.
I want to speak, just can't respond, maybe I can clear some things up. Adam Robbie, EMS Director. A couple things. One, this funding, if they pass this today, it just opens the door to a potential levy. They're gonna be working on their budget here, we'll probably know into March, whether they can fully fund EMS, give raises, make sure we can pay for the next ambulance on order. They won't know, nobody will really know whether levy is needed until they get through that process. So it's not an automatic on the ballot going to levy. There's more process than just passing this today. This process took about 120 days to get here. So it gives us a little ahead of the game if the board decides that we need to go towards a levy, and also establishes an EMS advisory, which the board has already done. But again, once the budget comes out, advisory will meet. If there's needs, advisory council can come back and give the board that, hey, we need more money to fund this. So the board may very well fund EMS. This just gives them an option if they don't have enough money, they can seek other ways if they desire to. So I just want to clear that up. It's not an automatic tax increase if they pass this resolution. So,
Brad Ramsey, live over by Homestead. I'm not here representing any clubs or organizations or anything. Live on a farm over by Homestead. Thanks for letting me speak today. I think one of the major problems with this as a whole, and it isn't just limited to Iowa County, is, in my opinion, 95% of the public has no idea this is an essential. Like, I had kids at the hospital in Iowa City. 2 doctors there had no idea that EMS is not essential. Those are doctors at the hospital. Don't even know it's not essential. I think if the public knew that this is not essential, it would be a no-brainer. They would all be, of course we have to make this essential. But the problem is the public doesn't know. And you have to have a public campaign to get the public to know to pass this. All they know is, I call 911 and an ambulance shows up. That's all they know. I pay taxes. That's what happens. Okay. As for me, I have 2 little kids, 2 little farm kids. They play hard on the farm. They work hard. They get hurt. I want them to have something coming if they get hurt, or myself. If I'm in the field, in the pasture, I get hurt, I want something coming. I don't want to worry about whether it's going to come out of Cedar Rapids or Iowa City or whatever. I don't want to pay. Who wants to pay more taxes? Nobody does. You know, nobody does. But like, it goes back to Shot's point. Like, I don't want to pay for hot water here, but I'm going to because I have to, because I need it. Same with this. And you know, in other meetings, Chairman, I've heard you say, I think that the county considers EMS an essential. You said that, I think, in like a July meeting or something like that, or the county thinks of it, or you personally think of it, and that's great, and I'm glad you think that way. However, without funding, nothing is essential. You have to have the funding to back it. Like, otherwise, it just means nothing without it on paper. Everybody always talks about less taxes, less taxes. Nobody wants to pay more taxes. I'm the same way. Nobody likes more taxes, but nobody ever talks about loss of services. That seems to be the thing that's forgotten in all the news headlines you see. Everybody campaigns on less taxes. We're going to do this. Nobody talks about the loss of services. So here we are. I've heard from supervisors in other meetings that I don't understand why we need to do this, pass this bill, because we already fund it. We fund it out of the general fund. Why do we do? We're already funding it. Well, Adam's stood up here, I don't know how many times, saying, we need new monitors, we need a new truck, we can't give raises, people are gonna leave. So yeah, you're funding it, kind of, sort of, like, but inflation's going up, everything's going up. I mean, I don't wanna pay more for my homeowner's insurance, but it's gonna go up 30%, you know, I still have to pay for it. And I also think that people look at this as something different than what it actually is. You're looking at it as a tax increase as an essential service. In my opinion, what it is you're paying a health insurance premium. Like, everybody pays health insurance, so in case something happens, you're covered. I don't have to lose my house because I'm in a car accident. This is the same thing. I want to pay a health insurance claim or premium to the county, so in case something happens, they're there to save me. Somebody's coming, okay? I don't look at it like, oh, it's a worthless tax that I don't want, okay? And another thing is, too, we're already funding it through the general fund. We don't need this law. We're 1 vote away from not funding it. And the reason I say that is 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, none of you might be sitting here. It might be all new people that say, you know what? The state doesn't consider this an essential service. I don't know why we need to fund it at all. You know what I mean? Let's just cut it out. It's not essential. We don't have to fund it at all. I mean, that's where you're at. You're 1 vote away from not having any money for that, okay? And one other thing is everything costs more. And now you have all these employees out here who don't get raises. You know, I think that the one thing said $29 versus $24 an hour, the hospital just versus the county. I mean, all their costs are going up, but we're not paying them anymore. I'm not saying that we have the money to pay them more right now. That's not what I mean, but it gives us access. And if anybody believes that the voters are not capable of voting on this, they are capable. Let them have an opinion. That's what they're there for. That's what this law is there for. Okay. This is the pen that Governor Reynolds used to sign this bill, June 9th, 2021. I would like to see it through in my own county. I was there for the signing. Okay. So make it happen, please. So,
Anybody else would like to speak?
My name is Pete Georgakakis, so I live on the east side of town, and I'm the EMS Division Director at the university. I'm the Johnson County Medical Director, and I'm the State EMS Medical Director, so I'm talking as a citizen, but I know a lot of things have already been said that I'm going to say, but I just feel that it's important, like Brad said, for my family too. So I think there's some realities that I'm sure you've heard in the last few weeks. I'm sorry to miss it, I've been working, but EMS numbers are declining around the state. Our state is already about 70%, 75% volunteer, and those numbers, those people are retiring. That generation is retiring. And being heavily involved in educational institution, those numbers are not filling in. Those that are coming in are much younger, and they're not going to come to counties like this the way they're paid. You've heard those numbers. As you've also heard, EMS is not a fixed cost. It's not just every certain number of years you buy the same ambulance, you buy the same monitors. Medicine evolves, the medicines change. So the cost is not the same. EMS is also a highly reliable organization where failure is not an option. You think about the FAA, one plane crash shuts down companies. One lack of response in an EMS is a catastrophe. It's a tragedy. The way EMS as essential service became on anyone's mind in Iowa is, like was said, there was no awareness. And so then there were campaigns to go around the state to talk about family members that died because no one came. Like I said, I'm involved with Johnson County Ambulance, and our numbers of the times that we come in to this county for mutual aid have been increasing every year. That is not a complaint. That is very much how mutual aid works. That's the goal, but those numbers are going up. I completely agree with what was said, that on both sides, that the public has to become more aware of things. I strongly disagree with the title essential service because I don't think anyone disagrees that it's essential. So this moral outrage back and forth is really not the debate. The debate is that you have to look ahead. We have already seen EMS came into the federal government's mind in the 60s because they saw that people in rural America were dying on the roads because there was no reliable way to get to them, to notify people they needed to go there. And once we got there, we didn't know what to do with them. So EMS has already been proven to matter. I know you all agree with that too. So it's a matter of how do we fund it. The general fund covers less than 50% of their costs, and that's not even bringing in any evolution of EMS. And so while it is unfortunate that there might be some increase in taxes, the problem is that we even got to this point. This has come up at the state multiple times, and I'm not here representing the state, but it has been blocked multiple times at the state level. So these counties are stuck in this position. And so I feel for you, and I am sorry that you have to even have this debate, because it's crazy to me that this isn't normal to have somebody come. And I just hate the idea that someone would not respond because both your ambulances are busy. We moved an ambulance in Johnson County closer to the west because of how much mutual aid we're doing. The west side of our county is getting busier, but we are coming into Oxford and beyond much more often than we used to. And this is a very dangerous stretch of 80, as we've seen recently. So this is not a field where I think we can get behind. And unfortunately, as you've been hearing for weeks, we already are behind. And so while it's unfortunate, it will cost money, This is just to get us caught up so that then we can get back onto the front line so that then they can actually evolve and do the things they want to do. I know their medical director, he's very motivated, has awesome ideas, but they are hamstrung to make your guys' lives safer because they don't have the resources or the money to actually implement things that are new, progressive, that we all take for granted. I think the health insurance analogy is a great one. And I would hate for you all to have a meeting going, why did this bad thing happen? What could we have done? And it was just moral outrage or stubbornness against raised taxes that led to something affecting patient care. How many times have we all sat there frustrated with our health insurance and the cost, trying to get something as simple as an MRI or a pre-authorization? That is a horrible system. Let's not contribute to it here by doing nothing. Thank you.
Would you please sign in?
I did, yep.
Okay. Anybody else would like to speak? Is there a motion to go out of public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. We're out of public hearing.
Well, I have some things to say. I have saved all my remarks for the final hearing. I just didn't want to have to repeat myself 3 times. Before I get into my personal remarks, I actually had a presentation, but because Chris isn't here and I have to live stream, I can't put it up there. Let's first just have a little discussion about some of the comments here. The one from Mr. Geringer saying that it's not an automatic tax increase. I think we need to go to the resolution and read that this says that adoption of this resolution will allow for an election to be offered for voter approval for an ad valorem property tax not to exceed 75 cents per thousands of dollars for assessed value for EMS. And so as I read that, that is an option now. So I know it's not automatic, but it is probably going to happen. And then as far as the supplemental fund, the comment that I had made online was regarding we can't just take, let's say, the $800,000 that this new levy is going to create and generate and take that out of our general fund without filling that up with expenses, because you have to maximize a general fund to have a supplemental, which pays for all of the health insurance and different insurances for the county. Could we shovel money from the supplemental back to the general to fill that? Yes, but if the goal here, if we're not going to increase property taxes, why would we do this rob Peter to pay Paul thing? Regarding the comment about Compass paying more, I can speak on behalf of Compass, and I'll get into that a little bit later here. Compass is hiring paramedics, yes, but they are going to use them in their hospital. They are going to be working the entire shift that they are there. That is how they are able to afford a $5 more hour raise. And I agree with you, Brad, when you said that people don't know. People don't know what's going on, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But then in the same breath to say that they're capable of voting, but people don't know what's going on is kind of counterintuitive to me. And then the other one thing, this is not, I'm confused as to where you think that the general fund is funding less than 50% of our costs for EMS, because all of the money that we are giving to EMS is either out of general or supplemental. Supplemental is only paying for the health insurance and things like that. So I want to clarify, I think the general fund is paying for the vast majority of our ambulance service. Now to my pre-planned remarks. Number 1, thank you to everybody in this room who does serve our Iowa County EMS. I have had to utilize your services. My family's had to utilize your services. And what I am saying here today does not negate my appreciation for what you guys do. I think that it's important that everyone realizes that we hear from every department in the county of what they need. We hear from the taxpayers, we hear from legislators, we hear from everybody. And so to balance everybody's needs isn't always easy. And so despite the rumor mill and the things that have been going on, I truly do appreciate our EMS service, and I thank you all for serving. Back when this got started, my request to the board and to everyone was, can we separate this into 2 resolutions? If we separate it into a resolution today that says Iowa County has a ambulance service and it's essential, I will vote for that all day long. And what is that going to do? It will bind future supervisors to pay for this service. The levy was the second thing. And that's why I continue to vote no on this, is because of the levy. And I just can't see increasing property taxes for very many reasons. I hear complaints all the time. I don't know if you guys ever have this on this board, but when I go to the grocery store and run into somebody, I hear complaints all the time about property taxes, and I get it. Countywide, not just Iowa County, but including the schools and the cities, we've went up 20% in the last 5 years. People aren't getting paid 20% more to afford this stuff, so we have to keep that in mind. Valuations went up 38%. And I understand we went a year without raises, but keep in mind, we gave 25% in raises so far, like collectively to all the county employees since I've been elected, plus a 5% wage increase that happened in 2021 for EMS. So EMS has seen a 30% increase in wages over the last 6 years that I've been in office. I would also like to note that the county absorbed a 13.5% increase in health insurance this last year, and we still offer a plan that is completely free to the employees, which is archaic and kind of unheard of. That was the raise. That was a lot of money that the county took in, so that way you can keep the same amount of money in your paycheck week after week. Once again, I just don't think the people that are footing these bills can afford this. They don't have these luxuries that we've had as a county. And I'd also like to take a note, once again, going big picture, since I've been elected, we've built a new EMA building, an engineer's office, a jail kitchen. We did the courthouse project with the window and the tuck pointing, and now today in the $8 million bond on radios that we still have $2 million to pay for. That's a problem. And this is what I have to look at as a supervisor. I have to see it as a whole. We're already going to triple the debt service levy to pay for these radios here today that just got voted on. We can't keep adding. At what point do we say no and put our foot down? And so I'd like to offer real solutions to be able to afford raises. I want to give people raises this year, but the problem is we've had bad budgeting. Just last year in fiscal year 25, $1.5 million came back to our ending fund balance because our budgets were not tight. And that does not include TIF, that does not include the engineer's office and what he has in his fund or EMA. So we had $1.5 million more that we could have spent on raises or whatever it might have been. But the problem is when we come to budget time, people aren't willing to do the hard work or to maybe take a risk and say, hey, yeah, maybe I don't need this. Maybe I don't need the office furniture. Maybe we can just take this out of here if I'm not actually going to use it. So I think that's one way that we can actually afford a lot of the things that come to us as requests. Another thing that I want to talk about too, so since I've been in this office, I've had numerous meetings and discussions with Compass Memorial about taking over our ambulance department. I can tell you for a fact that would have saved taxpayer dollars. I can tell you for a fact that would have been managed by healthcare professionals instead of a board of supervisors who have no idea if we're doing a good job or not. And that would have been a win-win for the taxpayers in my mind. And unfortunately, because there was some misinformation and some rumors and some just really negative commentary that was already starting to spread around even before this was a real subject at the table here, it's not a real option. I think that's really sad. I think the taxpayers lost on that one. The last thing here, property taxes are the #1 topic across the entire state. I don't know how many of you have ever ran for office, but if you go knock on doors, you're going to hear about it in every single door that you hit. And why? Because they're a problem. They're outpacing our income taxes by over $1 billion, and that's a huge issue. And we can continue to sit here and act like we're in a vacuum and we're not part of the problem, or we can start ponying up and get to the solutions. And the solutions are not adding another levy that maybe we're not going to use today, but future boards, who knows who's going to be in the seat in the future. And they have full access to take advantage of that and raise taxes. And I think that's a huge issue. And this is how I kind of foresee this playing out. As you said, people they don't have any idea what's going on. There's a lot of people that don't even know who their supervisors are or what we do, right? And they're going to see the yard signs that say I heart EMS, or see the social media new profile picture I heart EMS, and assume we haven't been paying for our services for all these years. We are unlike the 25 counties that have been passing this, that are, like Pete said, going from volunteer to a paid service. I understand because of property tax legislation, they cannot increase their levies to cover this new expense, but we've been paying for this for decades. And so I just don't see that this is the way out. I think we've got to shore up. I think we need to tighten our belts this budget. And I think that we can afford things without going to the taxpayers and asking for an additional levy. And that's my stance on this. And so I will not support this just because it is not separated. If it was separated, I would do it right now. But that was not done.
I think can we speak or not? Can I just?
Yeah.
So like you take out of the general fund and like we're apparently having trouble covering all the costs of the ambulance, correct? Like new monitors, raises, things like that.
The new monitors just got approved today, no problem.
Well, anyway, but it's pretty tight coming out of that, right? Yes, the money? Like,
This fiscal year, no. This fiscal year, no. I mean, our budget is set, it's done. We don't know what next year is gonna be like, because we don't have valuations yet.
So wouldn't it be nice to have funding so that we know we have money then, since we don't know where it'll be next year? Wouldn't it be nice to have that set in stone so we know that we can pay for something?
I know we
guess,
can
and
pay
you talk
for it,
about
yeah.
taxes, I just talked to somebody at the State House yesterday. They said this isn't a good year for raising taxes because everybody wants to lower taxes. You tell me one single year where somebody woke up and said, you know what? I want to pay more taxes this year. It never happens. Nobody ever wants to pay more taxes. I mean, I guess I don't know what the argument is on lower the taxes, lower the taxes. That's the same thing every single year. It never changes.
Why?
Nobody ever wants to pay more taxes. So I guess I don't understand what the argument is there. We're always going to pay more taxes because our assessments are always going up. I guess I don't understand the argument on lower taxes when nobody ever wakes up and says, I want to pay more taxes. I know, nobody does, but it's just how it is. You know, I don't want to pay more for eggs and milk, but I do. I don't want to pay 30% more for my farm insurance, but I do, because I have to.
I get that, but that's the exact mentality that's gonna prevent that from ever happening. We could get creative. There are services that we're providing that are unessential. They're not required by law. We could get rid of that, save some money. We could also start collaborating. Like I said, collaborate with the hospital, with public health, with ambulance, save money there. Collaborate with public to public entities, shared engineer with a neighboring county instead of hiring one back. There's a lot of things that we could do that wouldn't even involve cutting services, or we could cut services that are not essential. But there's so many ways that we could sharpen our pencils and be part of the solution instead of, like I said earlier, living in a vacuum and acting like we're not part of it.
I don't know, it just feels like we're living in a year to year with nothing guaranteed, is what it feels like in regards to EMS. Like, is the money going to be there? Are the votes going to be there in 2 years? I don't like that as a citizen, not knowing that nothing is stable with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I just don't understand that notion. The only thing that I'm aware of, and maybe I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, that was not given, that was asked for, was raises. And that happened across the county, except for people that were in collective bargaining units. And like I said, 1 year to go without when we've raised it 25 to 30% for the other employees. Sorry, I just don't see a problem with that because.
A 15-year sunset on it, if this was passed, would be great. I would feel safe. My family would feel safe that we're covered, I guess. And the 75 cents everybody talks about, has the board said that it's going to be 75 cents? I mean, it already says 75 cents. Is that what it's going to be? Because I haven't heard that's what it's going to be.
That's the max.
That's the max. So, I mean, we keep using that number like it's the highest level. That's the highest level, yes. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be that. Everybody seems to use that here, but I mean, I don't know. Set something in stone so it's there, I guess. And I'm not disagreeing with you on trying to figure out better ways to do things and figure out waste here or waste there. But you got to have something set in stone. You have to have a baseline to run off of, I guess. You can't just pick a little bit here, pick a little bit there, year after year after year after year. Okay, like it doesn't work like that, I guess.
Well, it doesn't work like that because we do the budget every year, and I can tell you it doesn't work like that. So.
Anybody else in the public like to speak? We'll do a roll call vote. Is there a motion to do a roll call vote? Motion to approve, right? What? Is there a motion to approve resolution 2025-12-19?
B, right? Brandy? We put a B on it? Okay.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote?
Deegan,
Aye.
Vice Susan,
Aye.
Moss,
Nay.
Meyer.
Aye.
Montross.
Bye.
Resolution 2025-12-19 is passed. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming in.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
That's more of it. me stay ready for a second?
Sure.
Did you find somebody else for the revolving loan thing?
No. Which one? We need a banker.
Yeah, that'd be okay. You're done, thanks.
Is that with the telco one or a different one?
So do an easy call.
Okay. For which project?
It's people that can't get funding from banks, that were like a last resort.
Yes.
They loan money out.
Yep, RFLs, yeah. Yep. Yeah, I
I
hear
don't know if you'd
you.
be interested in being on that board.
Oh, when I do the applications, you mean? Gotcha.
I thought, I didn't know since you deal with businesses like startups and stuff, that they, no, they turn it down, I can find you, please.
Yeah,
Are
no,
we
I,
sure?
No,
I have, yeah, I've worked with those before, so I'm pretty familiar with it. So you're just saying being on the advisory council of it, when you review the applications?
if you'd be interested.
Potentially.
You wanna think about it, let me know, either way.
Yeah, who's the, is this with,
Easy call.
right, who's the person that was?
I don't know, I have to get it first.
Very relevant. Okay, sure. Sounds good.
I just said about you to go, well, you probably see a lot of people looking for money.
Oh, yeah, yeah, I refer them, because typically the people who house them are telco companies. And so-
Just a thought.
Okay, sounds
Thank you.
good. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, is there anything else for today?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.